Shri Roshan Louis Joseph has over 35 years of marketing and sales experience. He is a well-respected professional in both the advertising world as also in the marketing field. He has been the executive director on the board of Eveready Industries India Limited with the accountability for marketing and sales. He has since been the MD of Swiss multinational company in the kitchen solutions business and today is specialized as a consultant in marketing and sales. He is the past president of the Advertising Club of Calcutta, having made significant contributions to the growth of the industry in the Eastern region. He was instrumental in creating the first industry academia effort to bring professional advertising diploma in advertising in cooperation with St. Xavier's College of Calcutta. Mr. Roshan also taught principles of marketing to the first year students in the BBA program of St. Xavier's. Then it was a part of Calcutta University and now it is Autonomous University. While in Eveready, he was instrumental in bringing Eveready out of the cold with a path-breaking advertising campaign called Give Me Red, which he is going to share with you today. This was a repositioning of Eveready as a brand that could connect with the youth. It got 11 advertising and marketing awards and continues to date the way Eveready advertises. Earlier on, his skills as a marketer were put to test in the challenging facing the flashlight business. This was the neglected business of the company. Today, with adept marketing moves, it is very profitable division of the company.
Very true.
In 2004, Mr. Roshan, as managing director of Frank, a Swiss MNC, had the challenge of establishing the brand, though #1 worldwide, into the kitchen business scene. Today, Frank is well established as a premium brand of kitchen sinks. Here too, he established a unique positioning and developed a distribution to develop the brand. In 2007, he started a marketing and sales advertising company of his own with collaboration with Caro International of Cincinnati, USA. He has worked with diverse clients across the Middle East and India. Mr. Roshan has been accountable for the phenomenal growth of a client in the home improvement area. In just 4 years of consultancy, not only is the brand the leader in the segment, but has provided the entry vehicle for an Indian multinational to move quickly into the market with a 51% buyout of the client on completion of the sale, helped to start a new brand, Sevisa. Mr. Roshan enjoys working with SME clients as well as being on the boards of Mother Dairy and Eveready Industries India Limited as independent director. Such a grand personality with a proven track record of achievements. Sir, we are honored to have you with us. I extend you a very hearty welcome.
Thank you so much, sir.
It will be great for our students to hear from you, your experience, and the Give Me Red, which you used to reposition Eveready. Thank you very much, sir.
My only question to you is, have you used the criteria of looking handsome for selecting your students? Because all of them are very good looking. How has that happened?
Chandigarh is known for beautiful faces. And we are also very proud today that we find equally handsome personality to address our students also.
Oh, Dr. Dhengra, you are difficult to overcome. Thank you so much. Friends, I'm happy to see most of you have your cameras on. That's wonderful because, you know, you have such an asset and it's got to be displayed. I have been looking forward to spending time with you, and I want to just share one of the stories that we have for this kind of a area of interest. How exciting can battery advertising be? So I'm going to ask that the screen be shared so that I mean, if Ajoy could get the host of it so that he can screen the PPT. Is everybody here, or somebody have to be let in?
Sir, I have already transferred the host.
You have transferred the host. Okay, good. Then you can put on the PPT. Joe, how do you? Can everybody see this?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Give Me Red is the slogan, and the story is about how advertising transformed a company. Ajoy, just pay attention. Eveready entered India, would you believe, in 1905, over a century ago. Initially, the batteries were imported, and funnily, there was nothing to use batteries in India. There were no equipment that used batteries. So torches were also imported. And in the old days, I'm told salespeople even carried a box of batteries on their heads and tried to sell few pieces because there was no demand in the country. From that start to today, when we sell every month over 100 million batteries. That is what the story of Eveready is. And it was the first battery company to start manufacturing on Indian soil. The first factory was in Camperdown in Calcutta, in an area called Kashipur. And that's where the story started of the Eveready batteries. Next. I just want to share the old images of Eveready batteries, which is how it started. As you can see here, a grandfather is using the torch to show the globe. Next. I was most surprised to find this. There was nearly a Chinese kind of a lady with Eveready torches and stuff. So possibly there was trade that came into from China also at a time. Next. How many of you can identify who this personality is? Anybody? Lakshit, can you tell me who this lady is?
Hema Malini.
The dream girl, as it was known. And I just looked up on the net. This used to be a metal tablet that we used to go and hammer on trees and anything wooden. And I have personally used nail and hammer to put this up. I should have kept one or two for myself because I just saw that on eBay, each of these is selling for $79. And I have given away so many for free. Next. So let me tell you the story. Everybody came in and it tried very hard to create demand. So it went into a rural thrust. And it became known over the years as a kind of a rural brand because we were so entrenched into the interiors. We had over 1,000 vans working in the district markets, bazaars, and over 4,500 dealers who bought directly from Eveready. Next. So I'm going to just play a little bit of the advertising. There is a vintage video that I'd like to play for you called Kabhi Kabhi. This is how Eveready was advertised in the early years. Kabhi Kabhi. Just a minute. We're getting that. This was a time when transistors were the big equipment in India. Huh? So what you're going to listen to now is now. These were the very popular ads that were running and the time when transistor radios were the big deal. So Lal Everedy was supposed to be the best for your transistor. And this cartoon format of advertising was very popular right across India. So we really were looking at a period, Ajoy, you can get the PPT on, of time when, just let's get the PPT. So when I joined, it was in 1973 and it was called Union Carbide. And Everedy, the division, was only one of the major divisions of a multi-divisional company called Union Carbide. Union Carbide had many firsts. It was a great company to be working for. And initially, we were one of the first to do marine exports. We had ships that were in Vizag that went out and did fishing to get prawns, shrimps, and we did exports of that. So it was a very unique company. There was also a division for plastics and chemicals. And of course, sadly, the pesticide plant in Bhopal, which was responsible for one of the worst industrial accidents the world ever knew, and it absolutely changed the company around. Next. The strange part of it is 3 days after the tragedy took place in Bhopal, Eveready distribution vans were selling batteries right through the streets of Bhopal. Can anyone tell me how was this possible? Anybody? That even after such a major tragedy, the distribution vans were operating 3 days after the tragedy. I'd like anyone to try a answer. You should try to answer if you can. I see somebody called Minal Madan. Minal, have you any
Yes,
idea why this would be possible?
yes, sir. I'm trying out it.
Okay, very good. See, remember, the product was called Eveready. The company was called Union Carbide. There was no connection between the two as far as the customer was concerned. So one of the learnings as MBA students we have to take, and this is what I recommend to all startup companies, is let your name of your company be one and your brand be different. Many people feel that the brand should also be in the company name. There are many advantages to this, just like we experienced in Union Carbide, that the brand was not impacted by the tragedy. The company was destroyed by the tragedy. And also sometimes you can see when companies wish to sell a brand, but if the brand is also the name of the company, they have a problem. So one of the things that you can learn out of this is keeping the brand separate from the name of the company. So this is something that is an important thing. The after effects of Bhopal actually crippled the company. And today, Union Carbide as an entity does not exist worldwide. It was broken up, sold in parts. I think Dow Chemicals picked up the last bit of it. So Union Carbide as a name does not exist today. From 2nd December 1984, when the tragedy happened, it was a really black period for the company. We never knew what the future held as employees. We knew that anything could happen. We never knew, and we just kept hoping that something would work out. And then next, the period after Bhopal was declared a blackout one for us, as the main Doordarshan refused to take any Eveready advertising. Finally, in 1989, Union Carbide Corporation, UCC, the US company, paid the compensation as defined by the Supreme Court. And by 1993, nearly 10 years after the tragedy, we came up with a new campaign called Gimme Red. And it was to be a defining event in the long history of Eveready in India. Next. Next. Okay. Those post-Bhopal years were traumatic. Union Carbide Corporation cut the India company loose. They had no connections with us. All R&D and support that we used to get were stopped. And your chief Upkar Sharma was one of the architects who led the fight to keep manufacturing up to date. But in these 10 years, our Japanese competitors, national, really took advantage, came out with new technology, batteries that were metal jacketed, whereas the Eveready batteries had a cellulose acetate label on it. So we were really at a disadvantage, and it was a struggle just to be alive. Next. What's happening? I'm getting black spots. Okay. In 1991, we did a very unique study. What is it? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Me.
Yes, sir.
What did you stop it for? Okay. In 1991, an interesting study was conducted in the 4 metro cities of India. We would stop consumers with a video camera and ask them, do you use batteries? And we kept on asking questions. We kept on asking questions to find out what consumers feel about Eveready batteries at that time. And we did some 350 interviews, and they were all video interviews. And that gave us a clear understanding that Eveready was losing ground with the young consumer. They were enamored by the metal jacket batteries of National, and we were actually losing out in equipment such as, which was common then, Walkman and photo flash devices. So these kind of devices needed more power, and we were losing out from there. So we had to do something and do it fast. Next. Rediffusion. How many of you have heard about the advertising agency called Rediffusion? They did excellent work. All that you saw just now, those cartoon commercials, were all done by Rediffusion. And they found it hard to change their positioning, which was the chosen one for your transistor. And we said we need something that will connect with the youth, the urban youth. It actually came to an impasse. They kept on insisting that it should be the chosen one. And we said, no, we needed something absolutely new. The Diwan Arun Nanda, who owns Rediffusion, actually flew down to Calcutta, and he said, tell me what you want, I'll see what you can do. And then came the big change next. Remember, at this time, MTV was not in India. But yet, because of all the changes taking place in India, the youth already had a new language. The advertising agency actually came up and said, the kind of language spoken by the college students today are like, give me a hot Sam and a G-Jam. Does anybody here know what a hot Sam and a G-Jam is? Give me a hot Sam and a G-Jam. Can anybody answer this question? This is supposed to be the language of college students. Let me ask somebody then. Whom shall I ask? Uditi. Uditi, what would you be asking if you said, give me a hot Sam and a G-Jam?
I have absolutely no idea about it, sir.
Don't you at all like a hot samosa and a gulab jam? Huh?
I never thought of it in that way.
So, what the agency told us was we need to look at a new India, a young India, which talks differently, but all across India, they are talking nearly the same language. And then they came up with this idea for next. Give me red. If you see the poster, what do you see? Symbols of youth, whatever aspirations were. An electric guitar, a huge motorcycle, and I will now play for you the classic Gimme Red commercial, which is today is one of these things that is defining a movement. I get a joy to play the classic Gimme Red ad. Volume full.
Give me red. 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 Give me 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 red. Ever ready.
I will just like to see you all at the moment because I want to have some reactions. How can you put your cameras on, please? How many of you have ever seen this ad? Put up your hand if you've seen the ad. Nobody? No one has ever seen this ad. Well, that's wonderful. Then maybe I want to ask you, is there anything you noticed about this? Anything different about this ad? Okay, maybe we'll play this once again just so that this time you got to answer questions, okay? So please watch with little more concentration. What was different about this ad? Play it again, Ajay.
Give me red. 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 Give me 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 red. Ever ready.
So I'm opening this up for a discussion at this moment. Is there something different about this ad which you don't normally see in ads? Remember, the advertising till the previous was all cartoon style on film songs. Suddenly you're coming up with an ad. What do you see different in this ad? Anybody?
So
That
maybe the
symbolizes
red
youth
color
and
is
power.
Yeah, Mina, let me understand. What did you say?
so maybe the red color is prominent. They are speaking red, red, red.
Red, red. Very nice. Anybody
And
else?
sir, the focus is on youth to,
How do you say
every
the, how's the focus on youth? What are the cues that you get?
as you talked about the guitar in the previous post, the guitar, bikes, and the energy, it's very energetic. So basically, that
And
way.
anybody
Like
else? Yeah.
the advertisement was shot in a club.
So it is a youth oriented kind
Youth
of.
So
oriented,
also
very,
the background music, it was quite charismatic. It was something which will attract the youth's attention.
very nice.
So it was basically showing with the today's generation, like with a red drink, and was very energetic to attract the attention.
Okay. Now, did we see a product at all in this ad?
No, sir, at the end only.
No, sir.
Who said at the end?
As
Very
Shivik.
nice, Shivik. That's very sharp of you. Actually, we in that year had never seen an advertisement. This was a 40-second ad. 37 seconds did not show a product. And here's where the problem was. The sales team hated it. They said, boss, you're not saying anything about our product. You're not saying that it is good. You're saying somebody wants gimme red. And when lal drink moves on a bar, so the Hyderabad salesperson phoned me up and said, sir, my friend is he's selling Ruvavsa, and he's saying that his sales have gone up after your ad. So what I did was, I never showed this ad to the sales team till it went on Doordarshan. And I told them all to watch. It was 9 o'clock show. It was on a Monday. And I said, all of you watch for the first time and then tell me whether you like it or you don't like it. And whoever wrote in got a shirt with Gimme Red on it, a t-shirt. 85% of the sales team said, terrible ad. And I was shivering because everyone was. My boss came and told me, excuse me, Roshan, you are saying gimme red, gimme red. Do you know how many black and white TVs are there in India at the moment? 67% of all TVs in India are black and white. And they are watching your whole gimme red in black and white. How is it going to work? Then I said, after 1 month, again, everybody fill in another form. This time, 60% did not like it. By third month, when I asked them again, because we were playing this number of times, only 15% didn't like it. And you know the advantage? Normally when we made like Kabhi Kabhi, that film and all, we had to translate it to 14 different languages to play it in all. Those days, cinema theaters were the main things. But with this Gimme Red ad, there was no need for translation. It was understood by the urban person and the rural person. There was no word said, so immediately, and it picked up the youth imagery. I remember I was doing a market research in the rural villages of, Bhubaneswar side, Orissa side. We were in villages deep inside and we were checking with the villagers whether they had heard anything about red everready or anything. And then we sat with the village panchayat and all, and we came out. There was a young boy standing there. So one of our people asked, "Aapne kabhi red everready dekha hai?" And you know what he said? A little boy, 10 years old. He said, "Give me red." He couldn't say, "Give me red." He just made that noise. And suddenly we realized what a powerful program we had, which everybody could understand. And in those days, there was only Doordarshan. So everybody saw our ad, not like today that there are 150 channels or 200 channels and people are missing the advertising. So that was the advantage. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. I think we have gone backwards. Next. Okay, next. So selling it to the Salesforce was a big challenge, but then everybody loved it. Next. But Gimme Red was just not only done with this kind of a, we also created a lot of fun along with it. And one of the most unique things that we did was India was playing the World Cup at Australia those days. And we got children across India to write messages of good wishes to the Indian cricket team. And we collected, I think there must have been some over 12 to 14 lakhs of letters that came. And these were physically carried and opened for the team in Melbourne. And the Indian team sat and went through these thousands of wishes that they got in very physical terms. So that was the cricket bonanza that we did. We also like to do consumer contests. Consumer contests help build your product also. So normally consumer contests have, they'll ask you a question and the answer you have to give. But here we had some fun. We said, we want you to ask us a question, the answer to which will be gimme red. So this was a very funny, and across India it went, and there was lots of people who send in very, very interesting answers. Like, one of them was, what did Count Dracula say? And the answer is, gimme red. That means Count Dracula is the one who likes to drink blood. Another very funny one, and I think is the one that won the prize, when God was distributing buttocks to animals, what did the baboon say? So we just had a lot of fun, created a happy atmosphere for the battery. So people associated it with fun, with music, and honestly, it was just something that went on. In fact, ASCI, Advertising Standards Council of India, came and slapped a ban on our advertising, saying that it is being badly construed by the children because they're using it to imply all sorts of things. And we had to go and fight that. And so it became a really topical thing. And it won 11 awards. Nearly all the advertising club awards of the country it won. And it became a kind of a landmark advertising that we kept on using. Let's go next. The interesting part is this advertising repositioned not only the brand but also the company. And that is what I want to share with you later on. But now I'd like to play some of the other Gimme Red advertising which followed this so that it became one of the talking points for everybody. Ajay, can you play the other ads of Gimme Red? Uh, play the semi. No, play the big one, the Empire. Now this was a interesting ad. It was played for one of the World Cup matches, and it was a 2-minute ad. And it was a saga that was created. So let's see what it was. It's called The Empire.
The empire of darkness has cast the sun into eclipse and plunged the earth into eternal twilight, enslaving the children of the sun. Their only hope, power, light, freedom.
We are coming close to the end of your session. I don't know whether we can carry on anymore, but I would just like to open it up to questions. If there are any questions, what do you have? Do you have 5 minutes more that I could just complete it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are there any other classes that you're going to just now, or is it lunchtime that you're going to?
No, sir. No. This is the last class, sir.
Last class. Can I just complete it? Interestingly enough, now we don't want anything. I'll just talk to them. Interestingly enough, you know, it worked to change the brand, and it also worked to increase the value of the company. When finally the Supreme Court allowed the auction of Eveready to any of the local parties, there was uh, a group from Calcutta that was very interested to pick up, because Mr. Khaitan, BM Khaitan's son Deepak, was very impressed with the advertising of Eveready, and he thought it was a wonderful brand to own. So actually, the people went ahead and bought that company simply because it was felt that the product, the company was so good. And even today, it's a huge brand. They paid more for the company than the people who also bid, because they said we must have the brand. Now it's over 25 years that have gone by. And one of the best things that has happened for the brand is the marketing managers who came after continued with Gimme Red, Gimme Red, Gimme Red. Last year, they celebrated the 25th anniversary of Gimme Red. And Ajoy, if you can go to the last, of Gimme Red as it is. It is amazing that for a company to keep advertising with this, and we had brand ambassadors like, Amitabh Bachchan, Akshay Kumar. Currently, Akshay Kumar is the brand ambassador for Gimme Red, and it is still going strong. So this is what is called in advertising an advertising property. When you create an advertising property, it's very hard to do it. The brand itself is hard to establish. But if you can, like for instance, you have Nike, and if I were to tell you just do it, you immediately connect it with Nike. Similarly, when you say gimme red, that's also connected to the last one. So today, this is the way Gimme Red looks for the advertising that they're doing. And they plan to keep it because it's really been a great platform from which they can advertise. So that is the story of Gimme Red. I wish there was time to show you more of the advertising, but I hope you got an idea of it. If there are any questions, I'd like to have you ask me now. Anybody have any questions about the whole program?
Yes, students, ask questions. Yeah.
So I would like to ask a question.
Brilliant.
So what keeps on motivating a company to struggle even after they see a bleak future, like all is destroyed, like you said that the Bhopal tragedy, and even after that the company kept on struggling, and now it is standing at such a high position.
Interesting, today, as of this month, Eveready's market share is 52%. And I must say, post Bhopal, it has been all our own work. It has been that you should ask your Mr. Sharma Saab, the work he did in the plants was amazing. I mean, honestly, today we can speak proudly because that tragedy forced us to have our own R&D department. Otherwise, we were getting R&D from our collaborators, all the research and development. And very quickly, we came up with all the latest technology so that we are on par with whatever there is in the world. So to answer your question, it is only the people. There was a bond in our company of the people. And believe me, nobody left our company because of Bhopal. Of course, the division that created the problem had to be closed down, but it went on beautifully. And it was just the determination of the people to see it through, because it was a well loved product. We had tremendous support from our trade. You won't believe, some of our salespeople are so loved in the trade that even when a distributor is going to make a match for his children, he will request our salesperson to also come along as a support in making the right decision. That is the spirit that really brought about. It's an excellent question. Thank you so much. Anybody else? Anyone else got a question to ask?
Wanted to ask
Yeah,
you,
Uditi. Uditi, I can't hear you.
sir, am I audible?
Yeah, so, yeah, a little bit. I can hear you. Go ahead.
So advertisement requires a lot of creativity, as in the animations or the basic design and structure. So have you ever faced a creative block wherein you thought that, I'm not able to do it, or this is not how it is supposed to be, and how did you overcome that creative block?
Okay. Truth be told, I don't do that. The advertising agency does it. But remember this, an advertising agency will only do what the client is asking them. Like, for instance, we were set on a positioning that it was for transistors. Now, the agency will do everything creative around transistors. But because we did a study and we found that we were losing the youth, so the company told the agency, you have to change your focus. And believe me, this whole gimme red happened when they were racking their brains to come up with something. They went out, they were taking a cigarette and smoking and having a chai, and one young creative guy said, gimme red. So creativity is bottomless. And whenever you feel that you reach the, you were saturated, just go and have a bath or something and it will come back. Any other question? Thank you, Uditi. Nice question. Speak up if anybody has any questions. I'm happy to answer.
Sir, what give an idea to bring a such an ad where like in present scenario at that time there was a cartoon type advertisement and you bring such a drastic change? What give that idea?
See, this is the whole thing. It came not because somebody had a dream or something कि ऐसे करना चाहिए, but the research we did with the consumers, you know what it showed us? That the retired postmaster was very happy with Eveready. The school teacher was very happy with Eveready. But when we stopped youngsters in Bombay and Delhi and asked them what batteries you use, we use Nippon Navino. So we suddenly realized we were losing the future market. So when you get data that tells you that you need to change, then you have to take a decision to change.
Okay, sir.
Otherwise, you will lose out. Okay, good question, Sugandha. Thank you so much for asking. Very nice. Anyone else? Good. Anybody else? Otherwise, it's, I think, enough food for thought. Maybe it's time for food for the tummy. Huh?
Yes. Any question? Right. So it is my pleasure to propose vote of thanks. We are so grateful to Mr. Roshan Joseph. Especially, I am so emotional with this Give Me Red because, in my young life, I used to hear songs like using transistor, right?
Yeah.
So it's really great, and the ad that has come really like for young generation, that is also very attractive ad that has come. and our students have actually a lot of learning as far as the brand is concerned, how the brand survived and the brand, and then market research, and then changing the scenario. Definitely, this is a lot of learning has.
Rehema, एक मिनट.
Yes, sir. Sir.
ये okay. Yeah, Upkar. Yeah, thank you, Roshan. It was I should say, I went 25 years younger listening to you, and remember all those days of our life in Union Carbide, and later on Everyday Industries. Yeah. And I will say a few things which our students should pick up from your presentation. Uh, क्या करता है? Is that there's a lot of one should learn, practice, and innovate, and above all, determination and self-confidence is what is called for, what is required to be successful in any venture. When you students, after 2 years, after finishing your degree from this institution, if we can inculcate uh, that sense in you of innovating, thinking about, and then coming out with the solutions with the determination and confidence, I think we will have done the job very well. I thank you, Roshan, a lot for very interesting discourse. Thank you a lot, and hope once the COVID is over, I'll come to Bombay and meet you there. Excellent, okay? Wonderful. And on that note, I must tell everyone, you are not aware of how much talent you have. And that's what he's trying to tell you. When you leave with your MBA, the world is yours. And we always have some feelings that I'm only as good as this. Don't believe that. You're only going to discover how you can amaze yourself. So be confident, take risks that are reasonable, and enjoy your life. Okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Professor
Thank you.
Dengra, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
the opportunity.
Thank
Appreciate the time that you've given me.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot.
Sir, now you can transfer the host.
I will leave the meeting.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Host can be transferred, sir.
Yeah, transfer the host to them. Bye bye. Prem, ये क्या करने लगे?
दूसरा लड़का आएगा ना, इसने तार यहाँ पहुंचा दी इसको। बस ये जो इंस्टॉलेशन है ना, अभी उसकी वहां पर से पावर आ रही है, इसकी पावर यहाँ से है, इसकी पावर यहाँ से देंगे, और ये सिस्टम जो है इसको यहाँ रखेंगे। तो दोनों सिस्टम रखना है, एक रखना है।